And joining us now is the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Mike Rogers. Let's pick up right there, Mr. Chairman. The administration sent special forces in there to see about rescuing these people. They came back and reported, well, it looked like they'd been rescued, or most of them had. What is the situation out there? Are there still Yazidis in danger?
Oh, absolutely, every single day. And so they've not only surrounded certain villages, the ISIS or ISIL, but they have also pushed them up into the mountains, and they were at least putting pressure at that time on those tribes up into the mountains. And so some escaped, some were still there. It just shows you the breadth and depth of the problem and just how brutal ISIL is in their governing of their version of the caliphate.
Mr. Chairman, the talk also this morning, apparently we've opened a new phase of the air war there. We're attacking these ISIL people around this dam in Mosul. Explain to us what that's all about and the significance of this dam.
Yeah, sure. So the Peshmerga, before, there was some reports that they had retreated from the area prematurely, and they were disappointing in their fighting. The problem was they were outgunned. ISIL now is a terrorist organization with an army. That's what makes them so dangerous. Tanks, helicopters, heavy artillery, money, all of those equate to a pretty dangerous situation. So the Peshmerga had a strategic withdrawal, were armed up a little bit. Now they have some air support both from the Iraqi Air Force and the U.S. Air Force, and have made real progress around that dam. That fighting still continues as of this morning, but it looks like they're starting to gain the upper hand and pushing those ISIL units, the terrorist organization units, back away from the dam. It is a strategic asset and something that would be important to take before they moved into Mosul.
Let me quote something to you. A senior U.S. official is quoted as telling Yahoo News that ISIL is now, and this is the quote, the most potent military force of any terrorist group in the world right now. I'd like to know, do you agree with that? And how do you rate right now the threat that terrorism poses to the United States, is to say where we were before 9/11?
Yeah. And the difference here is that before 9/11 there was single level threat streams coming into the United States, so pretty serious. Obviously they got in and conducted the attacks on 9/11. Now you have multiple organizations, all Al-Qaeda minded, trying to accomplish the same thing. So ISIL has said that they want to take the people who have Western passports, and remember, they're flooding into this country. Thousands of individuals now signing up with ISIL to fight their jihad in Syria and Iraq have Western passports. That's what's so dangerous about this. That we also know that they want to conduct an attack, but so does Al-Qaeda. And so now you have two competing terrorist organizations. Both of them want to get their credentials to the point where they can say, we are the premier terrorist organization. Both want to conduct attacks in the West for that reason. And guess what? That means we lose at the end. If either one of those organizations is successful, we lose. And here's something interesting, Bob. We've seen some very interesting relationships between AQ in the Arabian Peninsula, AQAP out of Yemen, and Al-Qaeda on a very aggressive, I think the Attorney General said that it was one of the worst, or one of the things that keeps him up at night, and I would concur with him. That is an attack that many believe is going operational, and that's what we should be worried about.
Do you think that we're in greater danger now than perhaps we were before 9/11?
I do, again, only because the threat matrix is so wide and it's so deep. We just didn't have that before 9/11. So when you get a terrorist organization that holds land the size of Indiana, has tanks, helicopters, they think it has as much as $1 billion in both precious metals, currency, and by the way, is selling oil on the black market to the tune of about $1 million a day, according to some analytical product. That means you've got a severely dangerous organization that is beheading people. And here's the thing. This is exactly the kind of thing, beheading people, convert or die, burning religious relics from the past. Just the sheer brutality of it is exactly what AQAP pitches. It's what Boko Haram pitches. When they took those 300 girls, that's what that was all about. That's what they're practicing and putting into practice. That's why this policy of not dealing with it as an ecosystem, I think, is wrong and has caused the spread and danger of these organizations.
Do we need, should the United States go after these people that are in Syria right now? Some of them are opposing Assad, of course.
Yeah.
But
well, you're not going to solve the ISIL problem in Iraq without dealing with the Syria problem. And some notion, I think the president said they're not related. They are absolutely related. Matter of fact, their caliphate, they believe their capital is going to be in Syria. And to say they're not related, I think, just diminishes our opportunity for a strategic victory. And you have got to show people of Mosul, people of these towns that have been captured, that there's some hope here that folks are going to come and get them out of this mess. So you have a lot of political dynamics in this Sunni versus Shia, but all of the countries in the region, including Iran, all understand the threat that they pose to both their own regimes, and this is a clear and present danger to the United States of America.
Well, we know of Hillary Clinton's famously arguing that we should have been aiding these rebels in Syria. Should we now begin to aid them? Should the United States start to play a role there that we're not playing?
We should absolutely play a role there. It gets dicier. You know, the options we had 2.5 years ago aren't the options of a year ago, certainly aren't the options that we have available today. One thing we're watching ISIL do is attack those same rebel groups who are fighting Assad for control. They want control of certain areas, certain resources. They have a long-term plan about where they're going that would establish their caliphate from Beirut through Syria through Iraq. So they have a different attitude about when Assad goes down than these rebel groups. Does it mean that we can find and facilitate some of these groups that would be at least more friendly to the United States? Absolutely. And it means that our Arab League partners, who have been asking for help for about 2.5 years on this problem, we can rally their cause against this growing threat, ISIL, to, again, not only their regimes, but a clear and present danger to the United States.
Let me ask you,
we need to
about
play
this,
that role.